The Sumpter Valley Gold Dredge. I think I'd want to have some more mirrors. The bucket line. You sure couldn't do that anymore. These are pretty neat. Welcome to another On Location snack. Sumter, Oregon is a small town buried deep in the Blue Mountains of eastern Oregon. Once a booming gold mining town with more than 2,000 residents, the area is now home to only a few hundred. The main attraction for those visiting is the Sumpter Valley Dredge State Historic Area. The dredge on display was the last of 3 used to mine gold along the Powder River from 1935 to 1954, and I was fortunate to snag a private tour. I'm with Bob and Melissa, friends of the Sumpter Valley Gold Dredge.
There were people out there that thought there was still enough gold to be had. So in 1913, the first dredge for the valley was built. 1934 into early 35, this dredge is being built, dredge number 3. It started running in April of 1935. Robert's father, Ray Armbruster, was the dredge master on this old boat.
Yeah, Dad came over from Weezer, Idaho in 1944, and he became an electrician on this dredge. And then he became the dredge master in the final 5 years of its operation.
So I read over there that it could move itself, drag its own pond. It had 4 cables coming off of it, and that it could turn itself around. And sometimes those could be attached to giant trees dug into the ground or a couple cats. But how did it pivot?
Yeah, so it has a thing in the back called a spud. It's a large vertical piece of iron that is dropped directly into the ground or is forced into the ground, and it becomes the pivot for the cables to operate from as you move it back and forth.
And then it'd pick the spud up, pull itself forward on those cables, drop the spud, and do it all again.
They would do it again, yeah.
How many people does it take to run this dredge?
3 people. There was a rear oiler, which is really a greaseman, front oiler, which is a greaseman, and then there was the winchman up at the top, who's the one who actually made the dredge move through the water.
Nice.
Would y'all like to come in and see the winch room and the trommel and the way that this
Let's go look at it.
business?
Yeah.
You bet. Come along.
So we have the boiler, which is pretty awesome. You never see these anymore because, well, they're a grenade. Yeah, if the water freezes up, this thing would be done because it uses so much water. It's constantly recycling its own water. Had 3 pumps that would do 100 gallons a minute each.
We could wander right upstairs here.
What's over there? What's that small
That's
house?
the winch room.
That's the winch room?
Up high.
Are we gonna drive?
Yes.
I like driving things. So this is the winch room, the guy was just standing here?
He would utilize those winches to pivot on that spud so that he could get that bucket line to go right and left and up and down.
They would get up on them, pull this here, push back, and then pull it to you all the way.
But you're stepping up on this all day?
No, just
Just
when
a
you
couple
want to engage
times?
it. Yeah. The heart of the machine, where the buckets came up and dumped the material into the trommel,
Oh, let's go look at that.
probably the more dynamic part of this.
The trommel's a giant washing machine, right?
Yeah, right.
But it only has like heavy cycle. So this is the bull gear, and this drives the bucket line. Goes back here to a reduction wheel, which is attached to about a 12-inch shaft that goes across the dredge to a pulley system that then, through a belt drive, goes down to the motor, down on the first level in the front.
So we'll walk over here now, if you'd like, and take a look at the trommel.
Let's look at the trommel. Wash cycle.
This trommel spins on a continual basis, and all the rock and dirt goes down through it.
So it's kind of like your washing
With
machine.
all the water, exactly. Water being forced on it all the time.
The size and scope of this dredge is amazing for being almost 100 years old. We're on our way to the Big Boulder trapdoor. You're just looking at where the gold riffles would have been.
They kept a pretty clean ship, and they made sure that they had their tools readily accessible, and they told you right where it needed to go. And then the buzzing system here that I was talking about. If he needed this boat to stop because he had too big a rock that needed to go out the trap door, he would buzz that in a certain sequence.
Can be really loud. This thing is so noisy.
Yeah.
You got to be able to stop it or make your decisions quickly, because you don't have headsets or wireless. There's a legend right over there that you can see.
Oh, there's the trap door.
Yeah.
That looks sketchy. Pretty cool stuff.
In 1945, they added the jig system, and all the gold would fall to the riffles.
Gold collection process was no different here than it was in the miners that were panning gold out in sluices up and down the rivers and places and all over.
We're looking at the pulleys that used to lift a bucket line up and down so they could change their depth of dig. This big square here, that's the spud. It'd be rammed into the mud and the bank so that they could then pivot the whole dredge on it and then lift it back out and move along. Keep doing their thing. Pretty nice dredge. Pretty big dredge. So if you worked in here, you got to watch your footing because it wants to kill you.
Yeah. I mean, mining, for instance, was dangerous as it could be. So you're just walking around all this equipment. I mean, look at this stuff.
Yeah. The dredge is open daily for self-guided tours, and the Sumpter Valley Dredge Site Heritage Area is dog-friendly for responsible owners. Seasonally, and when safe, the Visitor Center offers gold planning demonstrations and guided tours. Thank you to the Oregon State Parks and Friends of the Sumpter Valley Gold Dredge for showing me around areas that are typically off limits to the public. Dogmatics and I had a great time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified whenever a new on-location snack becomes available.